We've been talking all this week about the importance of a small group, and we've talked about why we should be in a small group and how it will help us to grow in the grace and knowledge of Jesus. But there's a couple of other things that I think are very important that we need to understand. And let me just read to you from the Bible because it tells us that when they met in small groups, they devoted themselves, according to the Scripture, to teaching and fellowship, the breaking of bread, and prayer. And now listen to this. And awe came upon them, every soul, and wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. Now, there are two things that happened. I want to talk to you about one of them. First of all, when they met in that small group, they had Bible study. They had fellowship. They broke bread together. They were transparent with each other. They prayed together. The awe of God came upon them. There was a reverence of God in that small group, in those homes where they saw God in His power. They saw God in His majesty. They saw God in His glory. They saw God in His holiness. And they were awed. They gave glory and honor to Him. And really, that is the purpose of the small group, that we would see the glory and the honor and the praise and the worship of Jesus Christ. That the purpose of that small group is that we would come to reverence God in a way in which we have never reverenced Him before. That we would learn to respect Him, to love Him, to worship Him, to adore Him. And in that small group context, we come together, and two or three are gathered in His name, and there He is in the midst of them. And there's something holy about that moment. Oh, I can tell you right now, I met with that small group of people when I was a new believer, and how important it was for me to meet with them. And often when I go back to my home city where I grew up and where I first came to know Christ, I go back to that place because it's special. I remember the awe of God. I remember the reverence of God at that place. No, you will build within your heart something that you will never forget, and that is the awe of God. So let me encourage you to meet with that small group, to worship together, to meet God together in that small group setting, and let God show Himself to you.